Okay, we are here, and it is the second of the third month in the 90-day challenge to double your sales in 90 days. And so I want to thank you for joining us here on this masterclass. We're going to be talking about 6 focuses to keep your momentum rolling. So many of you are already 30 to 60 days into your push into the final quarter of 2024. Some of you just jumped in last month, and wherever you are, that's great. My purpose here is just to give you a couple little nuggets, some tidbits, maybe some emotional energy, some enthusiasm, some conviction, add a little bit more juice to continue on your journey. So I have to share with you, earlier this year, I semi-retired, and for about 6 months, we were traveling and coasting. And when I launched this challenge, it was funny because we have been able to double our business in 30, 60, 90 days before, just by focus. And so wherever you're at, it doesn't matter the external environment, it doesn't matter what the geopolitical situation, the economic situation is. Yes, those external things do affect you, but what lies behind you or ahead of you is not nearly as important as what lies within you. And so what ended up happening is we went from semi-retirement mode into talking to other people. We put together this double in 90 days program, and if you haven't joined on the program yet, do make sure there'll be links down below that you can click and get enrolled. Immediately you'll receive a series of emails, and you'll also receive the playbook, which has some actionable steps to make sure that you've got the support and you're on your way to double in 90. And so we're going to just jump right into this thing. But really what has happened is gone from a coasting mindset to our business tripling so far in the last 60 days. And so we're not done yet. We have 30 days to go, and we really welcome you to be a part of this. And so let's kind of jump into the whole essence of this class. And really there's 6 focuses that we're going to go into. And the 6 focuses, the best I'm going to be covering later on in the program, and there should be a little bit of time, we'll see, with some Q&A. Now, your first focus to be able to finish strong 2024 and to double or more your sales is to get clear. Is to really get clear. And so if you're watching this recording now, just in the chat box, just write get clear, because we have to be clear on what we want. And the biggest challenge is people don't know what they want, or they focus on what they don't want. Now, the other lady, I just actually a couple days ago, I was coaching this lady who was explaining why she does what she does. And as she was going through her own personal story, her lower lip started quivering a little bit, and she was really, I could see her hands trembling a little bit. Her eyes were welling up, and as she was going through this, I could see just at the corner of one of her eyes a little tear just starting to roll down her cheek. And that's when I knew that she was connected to her purpose. She was clear about what she wanted and why she was doing what she was doing. And so I think sometimes when we're pushing, or in our daily routine or whatever we're doing, we get derailed or distracted. We lose the connection to our ultimate purpose, our why behind the what. And that's the juice that really keeps us going. And what is your purpose? What is your DNA? What do you stand for? And if you're clear on that, that's the foundation of clarity. Second thing on clarity is where you're going, and your vision. And all leaders need to be able to see where they're going, their mid and long-term outcomes, and be able to clearly and succinctly articulate their vision to their organization. And the clearer that is, the more everyone does become in line. And so if you've just joined us here, we are focusing on doubling our sales in the next 90 days. And the first focus is on clarity. And so being connected to what you want, your mission, your vision, and the tactical aspect is your goals. And in your goals, you're going to have your short-term goals. And those are going to be broken down into SMART goals: specific, measurable, realistic, time-dated. The acronym has different effects to it, but the most important thing is being absolutely clear on what you want and breaking it down into actionable steps. And the R in smarter, I like to put the R on the end. The E is ecologically sound, so it's good for you, it's good for others, it's good for the world. Your goal cannot conflict with your values. And then the R is the magic, I believe. It's reviewing and reflecting. And when you take time to step back and whether you journal or manifest, visualize, to take a look at where you're at, where you're going, and that's the thing that really makes those goals so powerful. And so number one, get clear. Number two, focus to double in 90 in your final leg of the sprint is to create energy. Nothing happens without energy. And in the comments, you can write that right now. Energy. I have it. I feel it. I know it. I own it. So energy it comes in different levels. You have your physical, you have your emotional, you have your spiritual energy. And I'm going to talk first of all about your physical energy, because without the desire to go, everything else doesn't flow. And I believe it really starts with the food choices that you make, nutrient-dense foods. And when you're on the road, when you're setting appointments, when you're visiting clients and you're connecting with people and you're closing deals, you really need to have that vital energy. You need to have nutrient-dense foods. And so what we're talking about is preparing it fresh, of course. I'm a big believer of organic, avoiding restaurants. And when you do restaurant choices, have your no lists and your no list and your yes lists and your yes yeses. And so the yes yeses are the easy choices. The easiest thing when you go to a restaurant is don't order off the menu. Tell them exactly what you want. So order, without cooked in oil, without the sodium, without the sugar, whatever. Just don't order what looks good on the restaurant. So the food is going to give you the macros and the micros. It's going to give you that foundation for that lasting energy. I believe sleep is also vital. And so there's many hacks you can do with your sleep. I believe that it's not necessarily your quantity of sleep, it's your quality of sleep. I track my sleep, the amount of deep sleep and the amount of time in REMs. And there's a great book out there by my friend, Sean Stevens, that the book's called Sleep Smarter. If you haven't read it, grab it. It'll change your life. And what you're going to really discover is whatever you monitor, you can manage. So if you monitor the quality of your sleep, you can wake up and your readiness score. If you can really tackle on it and put in that whatever 12, 14, 16-hour day or whatever you need to do to make sure your life is in balance and still being able to double in 90. So, hey, welcome. Good to see you, Denise. Glad you're joining with us here today. And thanks for your comments on the chat. And so to really have energy, we want to take our breaks as well. To plan breaks is important during the day, in the week, in the month. And we'll touch on that a little bit later with the second part of energy, which is emotional energy, physical energy, emotional energy. It's easier to be emotionally up when you have that physical energy. We all know that when you're tired, beat up, maybe you've gone for a stretch and you haven't had those little rests, you just don't have that the abdominal fortitude, right? When your physical is not there. So that's most important. And be in alignment with your values. And so what are your values? And if you haven't really taken the time to inventory what your values are, it is truly vital as a high performance, highly productive individual. And what is most important to you? Is it family? Is it faith? Is it fun? Is it finances? Well, if fun is your top value and you're going to double it in 90, then guess what? You're going to be maybe compromising on some of the fun and you might be shifting the finances before the fun, right? So knowing where your values are, if your family is your first and foremost, and you're pushing for your business, it's probable that you're maybe taking away some time. And so what we do want to do is be clear on your values, your hierarchy of values, and as you're pushing, make sure that you also give back into those buckets. Yes. Okay. So we want to find a rhythm. Life is like a marathon, and to run a marathon, those of you who have ran a marathon or a half marathon or a triathlon, you can type in the chat, I have run a marathon. And that is really a testament of your own abdominal fortitude. And there's a pace that you find in that same pace in life. If you are a high performance, highly productive, highly motivated individual, growing your business and helping others in the process, then you obviously want to have a pace. And it starts really with taking care of you. That emotional energy is going to come in when you take care of your emotional being yourself. And so there's an AM and a PM ritual. What are you doing first thing in the morning to prime yourself, to set yourself up for success? Whether it be taking for a walk outside, whether it be getting on the treadmill, will it be doing your yoga, your stretches, your journaling? It might be reading the scriptures. What is that thing that you're doing in the morning? But you also need to have a PM ritual. What are you doing to debrief the day? Talk about your wins. Talk about how you contributed. Talk about what you're grateful for, and also prepare and plan for the next day. Because the problem is sometimes if you don't have a plan the next day, especially if you are in business for yourself, you're self-employed, if you don't have that plan, guess what happens? You tend to meander. Okay, so you got to really make sure that those AM PM rituals are taking place. Take care of you first before you take care of your business, before you take care of your family. So we talk about the daily, we have the weekly. What is your weekly ritual? You do need a day to recharge. You do need a Sabbath. But regardless, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, you do need to make sure that you have the time to what? Recharge, reflect, and refocus. And so if you've just joined us, want to welcome you to our double your business in 90 days, double your sales in 90 days master class. And so we're talking about the 6 focuses. And the first focus was what? It is getting clear, right? Second focus is maintaining high levels of energy, physical and emotional. Take care of yourself daily, weekly, monthly. Monthly is what? Take a couple days off, go away with your family, with your spouse, do a digital detox, have something planned away from the normal. So that way it recharges the emotional you. Now, the third energy is a spiritual energy. And what is this spiritual energy? I believe it's where you are completely congruent. It's you believe in what you're doing and you're taking action towards it. And sometimes when you know what you should be doing and you're not doing it, erodes your spirit. And so having that spiritual energy, part of that is challenging yourself on a daily basis. Believe whatever goal that you're setting out for yourself, believe it, expect it to happen, and go for it. And I think one of the most powerful things to be spiritually aligned is to dedicate your efforts to something bigger than you. What is the cause? If it's God or your Lord, if it's your family, if it's a charity, if it's something beyond you, you get really enrolled in that process. And so to move along, we talked about our focuses. The third focus, and thanks for joining us. Good to see you. You have run a marathon. Good for you, Jackson. And so elevate your urgency. When is now the best time to take action? Now is the only time. Why put off tomorrow what you can do today? And when you're booking appointments, you've got to have that urgency within yourself to transfer that to your prospect, to your future customer, to schedule the appointment. Now, when you are presenting your product, you want to elevate that urgency for them to want to enroll in the product now, right? And so let's discuss your life for a moment. Now, myself personally, I had a gift a couple years ago, and anytime there is a gift, it's wrapped in something else, right? And so both of my parents passed away during the pandemic within a year, and I hear of friends and associates almost on a daily basis are getting sick or hospitalized or dying. And so I recall when I was visiting my father in the hospital, one time my wife and I were waiting for the elevator patiently, and all of a sudden I was about to get in as soon as the doors opened, and we had a team of people rolling out a dead body. And I was like, it was a wake-up experience. I'm not a fan of hospitals, right? I want to stay out of the hospital. My mother, I remember being by her side when she came out of surgery, and the doctor told her they couldn't remove her tumor because it already spread to her lungs and liver. And so when I experienced that, the gift I got was all we have is now. And so how old are you now? And we're talking about your life. And so in the chat, how old are you? Are you 40, 50, 60? And I think what we need to do wherever you're at right now is we need to work things backwards. To have a sense of urgency for now, we have to think about what is the end and begin with the end in mind and work it backwards. And let's just say that you're 50 and the average lifespan for a male in North America might be 80 years old. That gives you 30 years left. That gives you 30 summers, 30 Christmases. If you're looking at weeks, how many weeks does that give you? That gives you 1,500 weeks. And so during that time, when you think about the clock ticking, our mortality clock, we don't have the luxury of wasting any of our precious time. And you know, if you're not doing it for yourself, you want to do it for your family. You want to do it for the ones you love. You want to do it for your legacy. And ask yourself, how will you be remembered after you're gone, and work it backwards to the now. Okay, we had spoken, if those of you that were with me when we did a live last month on the double your sales in 90 days. We talked about an assignment. That assignment was just to write your own eulogy. Wow, that's sobering, right? But when you get connected to the end in mind and you work it backwards, man, that just gives you a sense of power of now, and really taking advantage of the gift of time and the gift of life. And so moving on to our fourth focus to support you in your final leg of doubling your business in 90 days is improving your productivity. Okay, productivity. Personally, I believe I can get more done in 2 days than most people can do it in a week. Now, part of it is the clarity on what I want. Part of it is the vital energy that I hold within. Part of it is going to be in creating urgency, but part of it is also in productivity. Okay, and so planning your AM in the PM is so important, because that way you kickstart the next day. And there is something years ago that I absorbed from Tom Hopkins, the legend, and he said, "What is the 6 most productive things to do today?" And if you do that in the evening for the next day, man, it just gets you focused on what's important now. And when you wake up, yes, eat that frog. Right? We've heard it before. You've heard a lot of people talk about eat the frog. On all my desks, I always have a little tiny frog to remind me to do the things I don't want to do first, and everything is all uphill from there. So procrastination, when you procrastinate and you're busy doing stuff, avoiding what you should be doing now, it is actually a form of laziness, right? Busyness is a form of laziness, because laziness is often symptomatic of not being clear and focused on what you want. And so back to that thing, if you really want to finish strong, is getting clear. So productivity, I've found one of the most important things is time blocking and doing 30-minute focus sprints. You can set the timer. There's lots of little timers. There's that Pomodoro tomato that you can get. And what it really does is, when you are sitting down and you're focusing on a task, whether it be making calls, following up on your emails, whether it be writing, reading, or whatever the task might be, is you block off your time and set those 30-minute sprints. And so a 30-minute sprint really means that you're focused for 25 minutes, but in that 5 minutes, you're taking a step back and you're doing a reset. So 56, well, we know you're healthy, Denise, so you're probably going to live to 100 plus, but either way we work it backwards, that gives you 45 years, right? So time blocking, 30-minute focus. And one of the most important things, obviously, in high productivity in the business of sales, and by the way, you're all in the business of sales, whether you're selling a product or service or yourself, is prospecting. It's talking to people. And the biggest challenge, and this came from HubSpot, 46% of the biggest challenge for any salespeople is enough qualified quality prospects. And so it does take a discipline. It takes a time to block off on a daily basis. And I just say simple, schedule it and set a timer. So if you know you have to book 2 or 3 appointments a day or whatever it might be to make sure you do it consistently for a week, then you go work it backwards and go, that's going to take me 90 minutes. That's going to take me 2 hours. That's going to take me whatever the time frame is, block it, set the timer, get it done. And here's the key. Do one more. Do one more. Just go for one more. So whenever you hit that target, because a lot of times, if you've ever done push-ups or if you've ever been on the treadmill and you're running, okay, I'm going to the 3 mile, going to the 5 mile, just do a little bit more. And if you go for more, if you're holding a plank and it's a 2-minute plank, hold for another 5 seconds, hold for another 15 seconds, right? If you're doing your 50 push-ups, do one more. Even though you don't feel like it, that gives you that strength to continue. Now, when we're talking about productivity, the key thing I'm going to talk about here that I believe is vital is automation and using a CRM system. So if you're not using a CRM system to track your sales pipeline, I'm not talking about just entering in information for data purposes. I'm talking something that is going to automate your text, automate your follow-ups on your emails, allow you to have better connection with your clients, turning clients into relationships, because that's where you're going to truly build your referral-based business. And tracking where they are in the pipeline. That's right. That's right. Thank you very much, Jackson. I appreciate your feedback on that. So let's really talk. Oh, yes. And when we talk about sales automations and CRMs, I have something so cool to share with you. I can't share with you right now, but it will truly blow your mind. Totally solid game changer. And when you see it, I don't know. I can't tell you. You won't be able to see it. So, okay. We want to go to switch into number 5. 5 focus is enhance your influence. We are your ability to rise in your sales game, in your business, in your career is going to be directly correlated to your ability to influence others. And so embracing leadership, sales leadership as a craft for you to study long-term, lifetime is really what I'm going to encourage you to do. And so it is a long game. And one of my mentors on leadership, John Maxwell, is we've got all his books. We've met John many times, and it makes me think of earlier today. My son texted me one of John's books, and he's actually reading "Developing the Leader Within You." And so years ago, when our son worked for us, he said that he remembers doing a book study when he was working with our company many years ago. And it's so amazing how that influence has perpetuated into his life now that he has kids and he has his own thing that he's doing, leading people. And so influence is not developed in a day. It is a long-term study. And so John Maxwell talks about the 5 levels of leadership. And I'm not sure if you're familiarized with this. This is something I believe that we all should be conscientious of, is what level of leadership are you playing at? And level 1 is really being in a position, meaning I have a title. I'm a sales consultant. I'm a senior sales consultant. I'm a vice president of sales, or whatever the position is. It's a title, right? It really is the lowest level, and people only follow you because they have to. Permission is when you have a relationship with the people and they follow you because they want to follow you, but that's not where you really want to be at. Minimum is level 3 is performance, is where you leverage your influence so that people push outside of their comfort zone and they do more and they create more. And that makes you valuable, is when you can lead teams and be able to influence the performance of teams. The 4th level is the people development level. And that's really training people, having a mentorship process. And I'm a firm believer of not just selling and being a high performance seller, but really building teams of teams internally, administratively, having your teams for your sales, having your teams for your accounting, for your finances, for your legal. Teams of teams will leverage your time and allow you to be able to to be more of who you want to be, because you can leverage out your time through the power of people. And so level 4 is people development. And the people development, the best way is obviously going to be through having mentoring and coaching programs in your sales organization. The final step, level 5, is pinnacle. Some people never reach that level, and pinnacle is just when you don't have to be there. And that's where you can have multiple companies, but because your level of leadership is so strong, and you've hired the right people in place, and those people are developing clear on the vision, the mission, and the values of the company, you can step back and it continues to flow. So we do need to build teams, and what we want to do is want to master our craft and ultimately think about, how do I replace myself? How do I step back? How do I fire myself and have someone even better than me replace myself? So ultimately, our influence is going to be predicated on trust and relationships. And with relationships, we have to have great communication skills. And to have trust, we don't earn trust. We extend trust. We give trust to get trust. And the final thing I want to talk about before we land the plane is being courageous. And what do I mean by being courageous is, well, business is not easy. Sales is not easy. Life is not easy. And everything you want, desire, and deserve is outside your comfort zone. And I believe and subscribe to the theory of doing something every day that makes you uncomfortable. Do something every day that scares you. And do something you don't want to do. And start your day every day being uncomfortable. And what are some things you can do to be able to get in that is put yourself in a situation where you take a cold shower. Who here loves to take cold showers? I don't know. I'm not seeing any cold showers in the chat box. But by doing that, that conditions you to be uncomfortable. Yes. Valuable. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Jackson. And then so get outside your comfort zone, and it will give you more energy. And energy begets energy. And being courageous, what it does is it feeds your enthusiasm, and you just desire to get better and better and better. And you do what you love. You love what you do. You get addicted to it in a better way. Yes. So you take cold showers. Good for you, Denise. So I'm going to just close with a call to action here. I really appreciate your time, but more importantly, I trust that you gained at least one nugget. And if you received one nugget, put it into practice. And when it goes in your head and goes down on paper, it means nothing, right? Maybe it makes you feel good in the short term, but it truly means nothing to your life or your business unless you decide to put it into practice. If you have not yet embraced the challenge to double your business in 90 days, to double your sales in 90 days, go click the link down below. There's a registration in there. You'll receive some emails, which is great. And you subscribe as long as you want to subscribe. But immediately you're going to get the book. It's pretty cool. It's got 6 actionable steps. You can check out our website, jamestanti.com. We've got some new stuff that's coming up on YouTube. Want to thank you all. Quick questions. Okay. 3, 2, 1. I'm not the best at doing the chat. Okay. Thank you. We've got that dropped in there, friends. Appreciate that. Hey, Eric. Good to see you. Okay. Well, you can catch the recording. The recording will be available later. And so again, what I want to emphasize here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Do what you love what you do, be clear on what you want, focus on those 6 focuses we just described earlier. And the one favor I'm going to ask of you is, if you like what you've seen, share it with a friend. That's it. I'm going to say peace out. My name is James Tanti. It's my honor to have served you for the last 30 minutes, and let's finish strong. 2024 is going to be great. I believe 2024 is going to ramp us up into 2025, your best year ever. Who cares about what's happening externally? External environments are good, by the way, in the United States, but let's not focus on that. Let's focus on your internal environment. Your attitude is something that you can control. Your mindset, you now have the tool set. Okay, so let's just put it in action. Peace, everybody. Okay, we'll see you all at the top. Take care. Let's double. Let's double in 90. Let's finish strong. Bye.